the Masters at Augusta, Fenway Park, the tennis grounds of Wimbledon. We all love our hallowed sports grounds. Cathedrals of competition, monuments to mastery, sporting shrines so steeped in tradition that your skin tingles when you walk through the front door. And even if you don't believe in ghosts, you can suspend your disbelief, at least for the day. But how do you build one? It seems more a theological question than an architectural one. First, you need a place. It should be green, it should be majestic, it should evoke tranquility, triumph, and tragedy in equal measure. Then, you mix in some time. Like bricks in a wall, the collective memories build on each other over generations, curving and twisting into spires and parapets until they form a landmark of their own. Finally, an invisible ingredient, the passion of visitors, friends, and most importantly, caretakers, deposited and distilled over time, creating a patina of ineffable magic that coats every surface and radiates eternally. In disc golf, we have Aspen Meadows. It's not convenient. It's not commercial. You can barely even get a cell signal. What it is perfect. The fifth stop on the Canadian Disc Golf Tour shows us that what makes a place special is that it reflects the love we put into it. Enjoy Falcon's Flight.
Hello and welcome. This is Front 9 Round 1 coverage of Falcon's Flight 15 presented by Innova. This is part of the Cold Garden Tour, and this coverage is brought to you, as always, by the great patrons of Park Pro and the PDJ of Canada. I'm Jesse Tomalty, and I'm joined today by the one and only Ben Loggains.
Hello, Jesse. This is awesome to be with you and to watch back this coverage from this past fall.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's been just long enough for me to not know everything that's going on. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. This is taking place at Aspen Meadows East, one of the most beloved properties in Alberta and all of Western Canadian disc golf. Maybe the tighter and harder course of the two.
I'd say that's for sure. We always kind of repeat that refrain that this is the more difficult course, and I think it usually is for the top of the field, but maybe not always for the entire depth of the field. Okay, this is me. I get a 78 overall score. My fun fact here is haven't slept in 48 hours. I'm remembering now. Yeah, I got off work at 5 in the morning and drove straight from Cranbrook the 5 hours out here to play the event. But can't miss the event.
Absolutely. What a trooper. This is the one and only Miguel Alvarado. He is probably the most positive guy on tour. It's hard to walk past him without getting a hug. And he says that no one has more fun during a round than him as his fun fact, and I believe it.
Yeah, question there is he too positive? We'll find out. Okay, Jackson Pease, Calgary guy, big-time volunteer, very young, but mature on the course. You'll see during the course of this round, I'm sure, that got a lot of poise for a young guy. It does a lot for the community, a lot of volunteering here at this course and in the local scene in Calgary.
And finally, we've got Justin Zimmer. He's part of the ever-famous Zimmer disc golf gang, hailing from Roslyn, now living in West Bank. One of the smoothest, farthest guys to throw a disc on a dead straight line. And his fun fact, his throws far and shreds the gnar. Roslyn known for its snow and skiing.
For sure. Yeah, I've played some rounds with Justin on this course before, and the last one I remember him doing side flip in the middle of the fairway on hole 5. So yeah, super athletic guy outside of disc golf as well. Okay, we're looking at the Canadian Disc Golf Tour overall standings here. We see Cam Zed holding down the top spot. There's been some events out east for sure prior to this one, and so you can see that reflected in the standings. Thomas hasn't played as many events as the other guys, but he's been getting wins when he's been around. And then obviously Casey Hannemeyer, he was our 2023 Canadian Disc Golf Tour champ, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, you can definitely see the guys that are attending lots of events right now, and it definitely helps a few podium spots to put you up on that scoreboard.
Hole 1. This is my personal favorite, I think, on this. No, that's not true. We'll get to that later, but this is one that I empty the bag on. You know, it's easy. It's near the camping, so it's a temptation to walk out here and just dump a whole bunch of discs and normally lose them into this long forest that we see in front of us. Most common play is to hyzer just left where the camera's showing us now, to the left down there, and leave yourself 80 feet or so short of the basket. Little pitch up for the 3 is the rational play, but that we know that's not how it normally plays out.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't think in the years I've played this, I've seen anyone throw down the fairway.
Yeah, I've definitely seen some, just, your basic stock hyzer that leaves it 80 feet short, but, that's not as common. So I'm going for it all here. It's just too tempting to me. You have a little peek at the tunnel here, and I try to get all the way to the basket, even though it's not the most realistic thing. This is high, and it needs to get left.
Yes, one thing we didn't mention is this hyzer play can bring 2 dangers in. If you push it too straight, there's a deep bunker, and if you hyzer it a little too much, you can end up in this rough along the left side of the fairway. It's probably most favorable to be on the left side, just a little bit in. The deeper you get into this rough, the harder it is to get out. Those trees really start to add up and tighten up your gaps.
Yeah, Miguel and I both, I think, went a little long and straight, which is the worst case. Wow, Jackson, we see here going over the left side. This is not common at all. So this is kind of over hole 3's fairway where he's playing. And if the camera's telling the truth, he's landed in the rough there short. Should be an easy 3 from there.
Yeah, got enough height to come in close enough to the fairway that it should be business as usual.
Justin Zimmer thrown a smooth hyzer to the left edge, I want to say.
Yeah, he might be a little further in there. Just the point at which it came out of his hand was a little bit more over the trees than down the fairway.
But for sure the easier side to scramble from. So Miguel and I both going long here. You have no idea from the tee what you're really in for, But Miguel looks, he's on the short side and throwing a tomahawk now. This is not optimal.
Not optimal, but not atypical.
Yeah, that's true. Very common. Oh, yeah. Justin's in a good spot here to get up and down.
Great spot and smooth, and I believe that's a champion polecat out of him.
Okay, we see Miguel tomahawking again. This is his 3rd. He needs that to go in for par. Not likely. And he's not out yet. He's still in the rough. Okay, yeah. We see where Jackson got to here. And this is probably worst case scenario, I would guess, from his drive. Going over that left fairway. Oh, he sends that deep, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, rare to see a lefty on coverage of Jackson, and you would suspect with the height that he would end up on the other side of the fairway.
Okay, I'm fortunate here to get to the front side and have a look. So I've obviously cheated in. Right on. Yeah, that's a crazy start to this event. I know I've mentioned this to you, Jesse, before, but practicing this a million times, I've never birdied it in practice. But that's my 2nd one in a tournament, so I'll definitely take it.
Yeah, I have the stats up in front of me now, and there were only 2 birdies on hole 1 on the day, and it boasted a 64% bogey rate with 34 of 53 people bogeying. Yeah,
I mean, and truthfully, like you even see with Jackson here, right? It's not even the worst 4. Like there's times when you could make a 4 on this hole and have the box on the next hole. Like it's not uncommon at all. I think you really just want to keep the 5s and the 6s off the card here, and you could take a 4 and walk off and feel fine about it. Truthfully,
absolutely. This one also had a nearly 20% double bogey or worse rate.
Yeah, that birdie feels like an eagle, for sure.
How does it feel to watch that putt drop again for you on coverage?
Dude, as good as it gets right there for me. I'm not known for necessarily reining in tons of putts. I'm definitely known, I think, as an inconsistent putter. So yeah, it feels good. That's one of the better putts I've made in tournament play, let alone on coverage.
This brings us to hole 2, 335 feet. This is a change from previous years at Falcon's Flight. The hole used to follow this same gap and then fall off to the right into the trees. Now it's been pushed back deep and to the left. They've also added OB, which you can see as the stacked logs on the right side of your screen, as well as a barbed wire fence deep. It does come into play.
Yeah, I love this change, Jesse. I don't know about you, but I was surprised hearing this one described before I showed up. I had a really hard time picturing what they meant, but then getting there and seeing it, the difficulty is really ramped up and still birdieable and not by any stretch of the imagination an easy par. So I think we'll see a much bigger spread of scores.
You're going Buzz OS here.
Yeah, the plan here for me is to throw it really hard and flat. That was hyzered and pulled none of the things that I wanted.
Almost the opposite disc choice and approach. Jackson the lefty going to a halo polecat, hoping to float and turn one in there.
Yeah, the halo polecat, not the most stable polecat. I think the DX given the stability, so yeah, getting some flip.
A little overturned.
Okay, he's rough there, but scrambleable, I would say, maybe. We'll see.
Miguel looks like he goes for something a little faster and just early releases it. There's still some work there, but that friendly roll he gets out to the fairway should make it fairly easy for him to get up and down.
Yeah, you can talk yourself into pretty well any speed of disc, because if you throw something faster and throw it low to play for the skip, kind of like what we see from Justin here. Well, that's medium height.
And Justin was on the line I would want out of my hand, but it looks like he's rested and could be in danger of being OB.
Yeah, regardless of his result there, that's as good as you can hope to throw it. As I'm stepping out here with the same disc I threw off the tee, that's short.
Yeah, that'll be another big putt.
Oh, well. Yeah, if you get hung up early like I did, and like I would say where Miguel is here, the left or the right, it's a tough par because this green is demanding, and you know, even if you leave yourself 30 feet short, oh, Miguel goes OB, we see the graphic there.
Yeah, it looks like his just panned out a little too much. It had the right idea for a shape to beat the tree and come back in, but just too much stability or not enough angle.
Yeah, I got to take my medicine there. I can't get too greedy and run that one by too far. So we see Miguel, this would be his bogey putt. Wow, good putt.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
Great putt.
Miguel with that nose up style, it's just so beautiful, and you'd think he'd struggle in the wind with that nose up putt as much as he does, but he's a good putter even on windy days.
Yeah, Miguel definitely known for his putting. Jackson in for two.
So this hole, I think if you were going to criticize it, especially if you were Jackson, not lefty friendly at all. Like pretty cruel for a lefty unless you get a sidearm. And somehow he walks out of here with the par, throwing polecat off the tee, and Miguel and I obviously struggling taking bogeys, and Justin a par, which is fine, but with how good his drive came out of his hand, he probably would have liked to have been a little closer to the basket. Well,
I'll surprise you with some more stats. This had the same birdie rate as hole 1. There were only 2 birdies on hole 2 on the day.
Really? So, I mean, I think over time that wouldn't hold up. I think you'd see quite a few more birdies on hole 2 than hole 1. But
and the 4th most bogeyed hole as well.
Okay, as we're flying over hole 3 here, this one really a decision maker, because you can go for a lot off the tee. Big sidearms or big lefty could try to get to where we see the white basket here, which the AMs are going to be playing. You could try to maybe smash one all the way out to there with being hyper aggressive, or you could even throw a putter off the tee, leave yourself farther back to open up the hyzer over the top of the right side of the fairway. Regardless, you have to find some way to get into this very protected green, protected particularly on the short side left and from farther away on the right. But yeah, I mean, you can talk yourself into throwing pretty much any disc in your bag off the tee here.
Yeah, Jackson looks like he was going for your big play to the other basket. Unfortunately, just leaves it low. but luckily not in the worst spot, short of where you might throw an intentional layup, but still serviceable.
I think that's smart for Jackson, though. If you're a lefty with power, I think you might as well take advantage of one of the few times that it would give you a true advantage. Justin finding the rough on the right. Yeah, so I'm going with an Envy here. This is an overstable Envy. And I'm wanting more fade than what I get there. I'm just trying to get short to open up the hyzer. That's the vision that I've kind of gone with here.
Yeah, the layup I think is best played maybe 20 or 30 feet past the bridge you see.
Yeah, see, so I like way shorter than that even. I like something not even much past hole one's basket. But so that you have the height of land to throw over those trees on the right. But I mean, that's kind of the point though, Jess, is that like there's a lot of spots in this fairway that you could talk yourself into being a good spot off the tee.
Yeah, I think this is one of the best and most fun holes on the course.
Yeah.
Okay, so Justin, yeah, man, that's a common tree that just gobbles everything up on that corner. You know, you have to find some way to get around that corner, but then as soon as you pull it around, you hit these trees on the right that you see I'm trying to go to the right of.
Yeah, short in the corner is probably the thickest part of the rough as you approach the basket, and it's a dangerous spot to be stuck. Your shot works out great, though.
Yeah, so I don't pay for the mistake there of being pinched on the edge, but so I do like that shorter bit so that I can go around that right side of those trees and then take the left trees completely out of play. But tomahawk from Jackson here. I can see this working.
Yeah, the shape is right. And for those of you that haven't seen Jackson play, he does have a lefty backhand and a righty forehand and overhand.
That one hangs out in the tree there. I don't think we'll see him climb it, but
Miguel gives himself a look after playing some army golf, going rough.
Yeah, he'll have something, and he's been putting well so far, so we'll see here. Okay, that's a good up for there from Jackson from the corner. Take his medicine, get the 4. A lot of bogeys on this hole too. I'm sure you'll share the stats with us here in a minute, but this hole, it feels really straightforward to get the 3 on it when you do get it. But then when you're on a card, it's very rare to get through this hole without seeing somebody take a big number.
Miguel Alvarado. Big putt, runs it in, shows the basket some love.
Yeah, we should mention here too. So Miguel for 2024, Team Discmania, and got out on the road and played a lot of tournaments all over the place.
And I'd love to talk to you more about that.
Oh man,
that was a heck of a putt.
Yeah, I think the night shift, the lack of sleep, that's what I'll chalk this one up to. But this is one of the worst putting moments of my whole life here. We'll get to relive it here.
Would you like to remind the viewers of your Instagram handle really quick?
Yeah, I'm the Benny Buckets. You know, part of getting good at putting is to you got to practice. So I'm getting my work in here. I'm gonna putt 3 or 4 times. The old bird double.
Yeah, with a rare bird double,
and not a dangerous green either. Like that's the other thing is there's a lot of spots where you can excuse yourself a bird double, but there's no rollaways. This is not a dangerous green where you should be doing that. That's just the yips.
So
Miguel not having the same life that I'm having right now for Miguel.
This hole was kind of a mid-pack, 60% par, 17% birdie rate, 23% bogey, and 6% double bogey or worse. One of the most balanced holes on the course. Okay,
so not too bad. That's interesting. I think it's really, you have to choose to get really aggressive, I think, to find the trouble on that one. Okay, we see EHO here getting out to an early -3 through 4 hole start. That's a dream start.
Yeah, assuming he wasn't one of the people that got the 2 on hole 1, that is birdieing 2, 3, and 4 straight.
Yeah, so he's for certain getting one of the holes that had a 6% birdie rate.
Yes. Speaking of hole 4, this is another hole that has changed. They lengthened the tee pad from previous years, but kept the same shape. Still one of the more straightforward holes on the course. The biggest dangers now are maybe pushing something too straight and not coming around the corner, being in the rough long, or the usual being a little short, tucked in the trees. All in all, still one of the easier holes on the course, and one that you want to get if you're trying to put a round together.
Yeah, for sure. This is a good example. I'm just going to talk over these drives here. They're pretty straightforward. Well, I guess for all of us except for Jackson, who has to bend a left-handed shot in here. But one of the things I was wondering about with this event has so much hype year after year. If you're from around here, that won't be a surprise. If you're not from around here, the excitement levels prior to this tournament are always at a maximum. And I wonder like how that could be kept up year to year. But then, this year, both courses, brand new baskets, and then the changes that they made, this one in particular, you can see the pile of logs there, evidence of the work that's gone in here to move this tee pad back 100 feet. I don't know how they do it, but every year I'm more excited than I was the year before to show up to this one.
Yeah, I think it's a testament to the community and the volunteers that work here. Every year there's improvement. They're never satisfied with what they have, and they always keep working and working. And the proof is in the beautiful courses, the attendance the tournament gets, and the things that you're seeing on this coverage.
Okay, mixed bag of drives there. Mine, I'd pulled there a bit. We saw a nice, just an absolute dime from Miguel there. Yeah, so this is maybe more downhill than it appears, but I have to take my medicine there a little bit. Jackson. Up the slope.
Jackson's starting to show that his putter is on for this round.
Yeah, the P1s, Discmania P1s, I think is what he's putting with. Something floaty he doesn't smash the disc around, right? He puts some spin on it and lets the disc do some floating, and I think that's a disc that matches his game well. Nice putt from Justin there.
Yeah, we saw Justin's putt look a little weak in the starting holes and a little fluttery. That one looked very natural.
For sure. Yeah, shake them jitters off. I'm still feeling the jitters from the 3 or 4 putt on the previous hole.
Heart of the chains.
Man, that's beautiful. It looks easy, hey? When someone's doing it well, it really looks like no one should ever have a hard time with it. Okay, hole 5. This is this basket used to stare straight at you, and they moved it down to the end of the corridor here. So it's 124 feet. It's kind of a stock shot. I would say that for anyone who's a tournament level disc golfer, this is a shot you have to have in your bag for getting up and down. Your typical birdie hole at your local course. 200 feet straight and then 20 feet to the right, roughly, I would say. So that zone, overstable mid-range, overstable putter, forehand, I suppose a backhand from Jackson. You could talk yourself into some over-the-top stuff here, but this is such a stock shot up the middle that I don't think it's worth doing something wild.
We do play in amazing places, and this is one of them.
Absolutely. So, okay. We see a righty forehand now from Jackson. The first lefty hole, and he busts out the right-handed shot.
It looked like Jackson pulled it a little bit, got a couple friendly bounces, and he still ends up around circle's edge.
Yeah, his height is good. That's the thing I noticed on this hole is as long as you keep it low, like as long as you're keeping it, no more than 7 or 8 feet off the ground, the accuracy is just so much better. When you see people miss this fairway, it's usually more than 10 feet off the ground.
Yeah, I think a lot of people start to overthink it because it looks tight, but it's very standard flat to maybe a baby flex depending on the stability of your disc choice forehand.
Yeah, it's a Buzz OS for me. I throw this disc a lot on this course for sure.
And it looks like you should keep doing it. It's a great shot.
Yeah, it fits the shape of the hole perfect to stay flat for a while. Okay, Miguel, we'll see if he can keep the hot putting start going.
Beautiful 36-footer from him. Little finger guns, little love for the basket. Love to see it.
Yeah, I wonder how that affects, if you're a nose-up putter and you're putting down the slope. You don't necessarily get that same feeling that a nose-down putter gets, feeding it down the hill. But, man, both of these guys, just no issues whatsoever. I'll putt nose up if the situation calls for it, like with a headwind or something, but I generally keep the disc flat, I think.
Yeah, I think putting with whatever style you've practiced the most is usually the best bet, and sometimes people overthink it and say this one needs to be nose down, this needs to be nose up, and end up making unnecessary mistakes.
That's definitely my move, is to overthink it. Okay.
Hole 6.
Walk us this one, Jesse.
505 feet, a very beautiful, idyllic fairway. Many of the players will not play it, though. They'll throw a higher shot that goes above the trees on the right side, trying to push as much distance as possible, starting to fade just about where the drone is now to settle into this green. The green's heavily protected on the left side, so you want to make sure that you're either short enough to make an easy approach for a 3 or right enough to have a look at the basket.
Yeah, a bit of a stadium feel. There's one basket and 2 tee pads in the vicinity of this tee pad. So you definitely get the feeling like there's eyes on you, because there's, a bit of gallery milling about, and certainly some other cards in this area. So a little bit of extra to show what you got, either nervously or excitedly on this tee. Big chance to open up a bomb.
Jackson gives that good height, and I know that's a PD2 from him, so it should have everything he needs to come back in. And
yeah, so he throws that, safe and over everything, and wow, man, that looks really deep. But for him bailing out to that side, he'll be having that long putt from the less protected side of the green, as you mentioned.
This looks early release from Justin. The gaps for the rough here are fair. However, the deeper in and the more they compound, the harder it gets. And oftentimes they'll hit those trees and fall short, which means you could still have 250 feet to scramble.
Yeah, and that one looked even shorter than average. Yeah, so Miguel pushing straighter. This is honestly a play that you could do, well, maybe not that early and left, but you can for sure just throw higher and let it crash in and leave yourself 70, 80 feet short on the left side. So I wanted that to be lower and inside, flat, straight, and then let it fade subtly. But yeah, just pulled it and hyzered it. Oof. It's a tough gap for Justin here. Flick roller, never a good sign, but that's pretty well done. Yeah, I'm going to that same disc again here.
Considering your spot, that's actually a well-thrown approach. You'll be on the more guarded side, but you got on the dance floor.
Yeah, give myself a chance to putt one in. Man, that's really well done for Miguel. Yeah, and you can see there when you get a little farther down the fairway and you go on the left side, it opens up. There's like quite a big clearing there. You'd have to be pretty unlucky not to have a play at the par.
Justin goes back for the polecat, leaves himself a little bit of work.
Polecat needs space to roam. Oh, hey.
Yeah, Jackson.
From Curryland.
Yeah, that is such a great putt.
The obstruction in front of him there too, like there's so much finger pop there, like he's not able to like really, follow through and like use the legs and everything. This is closer than I even expected. Oof. Not good.
But only one missed putt.
Yeah, better than 3 of them. Yeah, you can see I'm not having as good of a time out there as I'd like to be. But I mean, great card mates, and the cards playing all right. So I'm trying to enjoy the vibes of the card and not bring him down too much.
How could you have a bad time with this group of guys? This hole only had one birdie on the day, and you just saw it from Mr. Jackson Pease.
Man, that's a good looking putt. So much spin generated just in the fingertips. Okay, we get another scoreboard check in here.
Yeah, we've got EHO at the top, still at 3 down. Steady, but not moving backwards. Jackson Pease has moved up into second, timed with James Lowe Pinto. And in fourth, things are a little bit plugged up at 1 down with Noah Higgins, Brendan Elford, Casey Hannemeyer, and Luke Levesque.
Yeah, the thing that stands out to me there, Jesse, is that you see the top 8, or I guess 9 with the tie, at even, and the entire rest of the 50-player MPO field has found already a way to go backwards at this point in the event. Okay, hole 7. This is a quirky hole. It's very hard to have your mind imagine the flight that it needs to take because you can really only see that corner tree that we've already passed there. You're trying to hold space in your mind for this gap here that you see about, it's only 8 or 10 feet wide. But you can't even see that gap that you need to float it through here. It's a big ask for the 2, but you see them. It really requires imagination. The height that you pick kind of determines the width you need to take and the stability you need to take. So there's a lot of things that, wow. So Jackson can throw a spike hyzer over everything. If you don't know, he's got, 530 feet worth of power. So yeah, up and over everything.
And he still finds himself 15 feet out of circle 1 or so. But it's a much different hole to play as a lefty. The righties here are going to have to play some form of turnover. And like you said, the height is very important. Miguel's line is one that I like, but you'll see a lot of players throw higher with maybe even a more stable disc, trying to straighten out as it goes through that final gap.
Yeah, the gap's a little bigger down low because the branches are shaped up off of the trees, but then the shape, I think, is easier to make with the higher shot, but then the gap kind of narrows in that middle height. That's well done from Justin. I don't even know. Some tried to throw almost land a backhand roller on this basket. So that's something kind of in the middle, not as high as you could go, but certainly not as low and inside as what has success. I think the birdies that I see the most are lower and hugged really tight to that first tree.
Yeah, anything that comes into here, you're not too worried about because it is likely to par. But oftentimes you'll see shots that don't quite make it through the first gap, either from being too tight or too straight. And the ones that get too straight can be very dangerous.
So yeah, I suppose maybe just to say it as the worst drive in that group is definitely above average because you usually see somebody catch the back wall. My goodness. That would have been a nice way to turn the round around a little bit there, but not quite.
Yeah, building some momentum when you've been down is paramount. Ooh. Jackson gives the band a scare. His putt still looks to be online.
Yeah, that's when you know someone's putting well, is even when the bad ones look good. Okay, just cleaning up. Pretty common to take 3s. If you got the stats, I would guess that this one is going to take more than the average share of 3s. Not birdies. And for sure, I would expect some bogeys, but a lot of pars.
Yes, this one was the second most parred on the course at 66% of the field. Surprisingly, though, only 2 players managed to card a birdie on that hole, with 30% of the field bogeying and 2 double bogeys snuck in there. Hole 8.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that's a problem, though. Like, a hole that gets that many pars, a lot of times you would think that that's an issue, but it's still a really fun hole to play.
Absolutely. And speaking of very fun holes to play, hole 8 here, 520-foot par 4. I call this the question mark hole because you come straight out, swale into this corner, and hook back into a beautiful green. There is OB deep, and the, swampy island in the middle is also out of bounds. One of my favorite holes because the variety of play that it produces. You can lay up to the short tee and then play a second shot around, or even all the way over the OB. You can go all the way to the corner and try and have a straight shot into the green. And some guys will be crazy enough to try and land the green off the tee, carrying the OB and all of the distance.
Yeah, I think this is kind of the round definer. Hey, it's usually when you think back to your round on this east side, you usually think back to how you played this hole.
Well, it's so memorable. Jackson playing the layup just a little bit to the right, and Miguel looking to play a similar layup position to Jackson, pulls his drive into the OB. He will get the opportunity to advance to the short tee for the drop zone, though.
Yeah, I'll spoil it a little bit here, but my play here now is to just go right for the green because I'm so terrified of doing what Miguel did there. I've done that, where you're trying to play it safe, and then you end up out of bounds anyway. And then the other thing is, if you lay up really short, the crossing shot over the waistline to the green is very difficult. So yeah, I like this play to fire it directly into that tree and then fall in the fairway anyway. Oh boy.
Taking another
Okay,
crack.
so I actually have a chance at the green here. Yeah, this is an easier shot. A little more steep hyzer than the tee shot.
Yeah.
Just a little too far, a little too straight. There's ample room if you don't play to park the basket. If you play it to 40 feet short, the green is very generous if you play it 40 feet short.
Miguel playing the hyzer here, and that's looking like it pushed towards the OB, but we're getting a green flag from our spotter.
Okay. Green is good. Jackson looking skyward, big lefty spike. This is kind of the ideal angle to bring this into green.
And he executes. That's a perfectly thrown shot from a stance that seemed pretty uncomfortable.
Yeah, this hole, for sure, it pays to have experience on, so that you know how hard to throw that shot and how far left and right to get it, because you can't spend all day walking around and looking at the corner.
Yes, the green is surrounded on all sides by OB, so even if you try to play safe and be deep, you're still bringing it into play.
I feel Justin's pain there. He threw a good tee shot there, and then it's just demanding to try to land it right on this basket. It's just, you're not off the hook when you throw the tee shot that Justin threw there.
Oh, and the angle that you come into the green is very important here. I've seen a lot of discs land in the bullseye and manage to roll down the hill. Ooh.
Yeah, and that putt there, like that can easily go out of bounds because I'm trying to make a save there, but not quite happening, but lucky to stay in bounds.
Little pitch up from Justin. Maybe a half run.
That's smart. That's really smart from him to get that disc on the ground early. Fist pumping, try to get myself going. Got to get something moving here. Birdie from Jackson. That's really well done. So this is one of the few holes that I would say that actually benefits the lefty. There's so few that truly do out here. There's a lot more where the lefty is much more handcuffing than the righty.
I'll agree with you. However, with Jackson's power, I think he would like to have a righty backhand and try and go for the green there. I don't see that as a possibility as a lefty. Yeah,
that's true. Man, but with the power, man, that lefty spike over the waistline is pretty nicely done. Okay, hole 9. This is a tricky one, man. It seems like a straightforward birdie hole, but it's so easy to get yourself into trouble. The uphill nature of this one, I think, is what makes it very difficult to keep your disc on the line that you're trying to set it on. Generally, when you slope your shoulders upward, you end up tending to pull the disc left or right, have it come out early. But totally aceable. I think that's the play here is to just tell yourself you're going to ace it, so it helps you to stay committed through the shot. At least that's my play, at least. But yeah, we'll see. The barbed wire on the left there, it's so easy to let it leak in there, and then obviously you'll be OB up the left edge.
In years past, the limbs weren't as trimmed back along the barbed wire, and you could see some pretty favorable bounces off those limbs to keep a disc in bounds.
Do it.
Whoa. And I'll stop talking because there's that ace run you were talking about, so close for Jackson.
Man, I'm starting to remember now just being certain that was going in. Yeah, we see Miguel get the love, staying in bounds there off of a sawed-off shot. That's the nightmare in your mind. You do not want to saw this off, and then yet you do. I don't know why it's so hard to not saw this shot off as we see 2 of the 3. I'm going to try to make the correction and pull this into the fairway. No, even worse.
Less of a worse line, but unfortunate roll. Looks like it. Oh, we've got the graphic up for a group call. But as Falcons
I do remember
it's not
from the tee, we
the barbed
saw
wire.
that little hop. Yeah, exactly what you're saying. It's not the barbed wire. It's post to post. From the tee, we could see the little hop that the disc made and roll around. So we were like, oh, no, that'll be good. And then we got up there, and it was not good. I would have expected Miguel to draw a medal from there with the putting day he's had so far.
Absolutely. He's been spectacular on the green. And honestly, saying it again, it is the signature of his game. Such a phenomenal putter.
I'm taking my 2 meters off the barbed wire. I'm taking them straight towards the basket. Not cleaning it up.
A good run, and it looked like it was online. I think I saw you take that first step believing it was in.
Yeah, I've seen so many putts made from, roughly the distance of that fairway tree there. I've just seen so many long putts made on this hole that I just assume that everyone's going to make the 70 footers on this hole. Have you had the same experience? You see people make long putts on this hole? I don't know what it is, but...
Well, I think that bounce off the limbs we were talking about can leave people short and in the middle of the fairway. It's uphill, so it kind of gives you the green light to give it a good effort.
Yeah, for sure. That must be what it is that you're left at 70 feet a lot, and it's safe, so... Oof. Man, Jackson's putting well.
Yeah, what a performance he's put on this front nine.
Okay, that is the front nine. Look at the scoreboard here.
Look, hey. Jackson, as we've been talking his game up, is tied for the lead with Luke Levesque. Chased tightly by Noah Higgins in third, and a tie in fourth between EHO and Brendan Elford, Casey Hannemeyer, James Lopinto, Steve Potter, and Connor Mickelson, all tied up at 1 down. And as we said, our top 10 isn't even all under par. Eric Fast in 10th at 1 over.
Yeah, that's generally our mark. That's the benchmark on this east side, is if you can be under par, you're in contention for this tournament. And with the changes this year too, theoretically that's even more so the case, because I would say it's definitely playing a stroke and a half or so harder than in years prior. But yeah, happy side of par of the goal.
If you want to see how this back nine plays out, join us for that coverage. It'll be out soon. And until next time, keep playing disc golf. Peace.